We were just covering that article that they put out the other day where they were talking about how the U.S. government brought in these companies to discuss the custody of Bitcoin, And I was saying that I don't think it's far-fetched if they get Ripple involved at some point as a custody provider for the digital asset stockpile. If they're going to do one thing for Bitcoin, Bitcoin usually sets the standard, and then we see that same thing done with the altcoins, etc. And now look at these things happening, folks. Look how everything lines up. This is why it pays to be a researcher. Two things simultaneously were released today that both go together with that idea and lending credence to that idea. Now, hold on now. This here, Ripple files trademark for crypto custody. This is happening. Well, let me read the entire title to you. Sorry, sometimes I get a little too excited and I want to jump ahead. Ripple files trademark for crypto custody as U.S. Treasury meets with industry giants to discuss Bitcoin reserve custody. I was just saying this. Go back 2-3 videos. Did I say that? Look at what's happening, folks. Then you wonder why I get excited? If you say something, if you do research, and then you're using your estimation ability to say you believe this is going to happen, and then it happens, that's the most exhilarating thing that could ever happen, I'm telling you. And we were just discussing this, so yeah, this is exciting. Folks, I don't think people are getting it. They're not understanding how much value could come out of this. Now, don't see with a one-dimensional eye or mind. Okay, I mean, no disrespect by that, but see with 360 degrees of mind, perceive, not see, perceive with 360 degrees of mind. Custody is just where it begins. Out of the custody, any type of custody partnership or deal, other deals will come. How do we know that? This has happened before in history. There's tracks already laid. Look at how, if you look at what happened with gold long time ago, right? Around that time when they took everything off the gold standard and there was a lot of activity with gold. Look at what happened then. How those original companies began when it came to gold custody and providing physical gold, all this stuff. You'll see the similarities. So, do you believe? Right? And I have so many thoughts, but I'm asking you this question. Do you believe that Ripple is filing a trademark for crypto custody just out of nowhere for no reason? There's no cause for this effect? Of course not. Of course not. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And at this time, they do it. This sends a message, a clear message. The U.S. Treasury is on the hunt for people to custody this stuff. I told you the private sector was going to lead the way. Christopher Waller of the Fed told you the private sector was going to lead the way. The Bank of International Settlements told you the private sector was going to lead the way. And what's been happening? You're seeing the private sector leap, not walk, leap into the driver's seat. Now, once again, when you begin to think about the different deals and partnerships that could come out of this, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, over the last 3 to 4 years, you've seen a myriad of documents come out, right? I mean, those who are erudite have seen a myriad of documents and retained that information here, right? And they haven't given us that information because they're just all of a sudden just magnanimous. They're just so magnanimous with giving us things. No. This plan was laid out long ago. They were letting those who needed to know. They were sending out signal flares for them. The businesses, right? Many of which, as we're reading documents every day, and I have one here, by the way. I believe I have it here. Bear with me one moment. I believe it's this one here. Let me just scroll up. It takes some time. These websites have so many ads and videos they want to load up. It takes time for it to load. And I'm downstairs, right, in my office. So I don't get the greatest signal down here, but Yeah, so even this article here we'll get to a little bit later, maybe. Bank of America says real-time payments connect businesses to working capital. They needed to put all of this out so the businesses could read those documents. They don't have time to send all of these businesses individual emails, of which a lot of them do not check. They do not keep up. All right. The workers they're paying don't read every single email. They just go over the important ones. I know this for a fact. So they put it out there to the mainstream media so those businesses could get on board, which they did not. That's why there's so many businesses waiting and crying for DLT technology right now, faster payments right now. They need access to better ways to engage in cross-border payments and transactions. All right. Because here's what's going to happen. And this is the first thing I want to talk about with this. Everybody wants to go global because if you want to tap into a vast amount of value very quickly as a business, as a bank, if you want to have global reach now as a government, you're going to need DLT technology. And with it, you're going to be able to do that easily. Full automation is coming. It's coming. It's not just regular traders, investors that are going to make millions, in my humble opinion, not financial advice. It's not just that, but pay close attention. And I know a lot of you're successful. I know. I hear you. You have good businesses. I get it. But there's a lot of businesses that have been struggling over the last 2 to 3 years. They're going to jump in on this. That's going to bring a lot of how do you say it? A lot of value, a lot of volume to these chains because so many of them they're rushing towards this. You remember the video from the other day told you in the small banks. Small, medium-sized banks are rushing towards this because they're behind. Everybody's behind on this. But the big banks are pushing them to adopt the technology faster. So you're going to have billions up to trillions flood in because of all of these businesses, small and businesses, as well as small and medium-sized banks are going to jump in on this, period. They have to. So this could lead to things like that, where Ripple gains a little bit more respect. It gains more partnerships. It's working with the government. That's going to bring more people to the table. It is. They're going to be more trusted. They're going to say if the government can trust Ripple, so can we. That's one. Two, let's go into loosening up capital. What has the United States government been saying? Have they been doing it? I don't know. That's up to you to check. But they're saying that they want to save capital. They want to save value. So number one, they're going to need transparency that only DLT can provide. I don't know why this video ad, you hear me clicking that? I'm trying to click it off. It will not go off. This ad wants this website to make some capital. They want them to make some money because it will not go away. I'm clicking the little X. It will not go. But anyway, the United States government needs the transparency of DLT. So if Ripple does wind up doing any type of custodying for the United States government, they could also use Ripple technology, of which they're very privy. They could use Ripple technology for transparency. That's going to bring a lot of volume also and value as well. But if they use it for that, that's not where it's going to end. So saving value, tracing that value, moving that value. Other things, when it comes to the tokenization of real world assets, what else has the U.S. government been talking about? They've been talking about natural. There you go. Natural resources. Don't worry, I have people there telling me every day now. There's apparently a lot happening. Like I said, I have people informing me. Natural resources. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, there is a split. There always has been a split between those who want to extract those natural resources from the ground within the USA. And obviously that you can monetize it that way. But now with this technology and all of the different radar or what they call it, LiDAR, or whatever it's called. Now, if they wanted to capitalize on that value without disturbing any of the land or a minimum of the land, it depends. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm just playing with ideas. But think about this. The U.S. for the first time could scan that value in the ground and they can tokenize that value without ever having to touch it. These are things that have already been discussed with other countries who discovered allotments of gold. It happened even recently. We saw in Africa, they discovered trillions of dollars worth of gold in the ground. And obviously, it's been discussed whether they're going to tokenize that value or not. You don't have to move it. It's the same way that gold offerings do now, where your gold bars sit in a vault somewhere. They don't move, but your value is attached to that gold bar in the vault. You can extract that value or use that value at any time with a gold card or on an exchange. They have a cadre of ways to do it now. You can do the same thing with natural resources in the ground. What's the difference? A vault, the ground, what's the difference? So they could do that as well. Do you understand how much value that will bring to any of these chains? I'm not saying that Ripple's going to be the only one in the custody game. That's not what I'm trying to allude to. No, but they can play a major part for sure. They're in the game for sure. They're ahead of the curve for certain. That could bring trillions of dollars. And these, in my opinion, folks, my humble opinion, these are not even the biggest catalyst. They're not. But if you're the US government and you're saying you want to save money, what quicker and better way can you reduce cost and save money and provide transparency all at the same time? Using DLT, you can do all of that all at the same time, all together. You don't need different companies. You don't need different services. You can minimize everything while keeping everything cheap, providing transparency, as well as, saving a lot of capital that I guess apparently they want to reallocate that capital. So this is huge. But wait, I told you there was a second article, right? So you had this one about Ripple filing the trademark for custody. Then look at this. This is why you got to put everything together. Look at this. This article comes out. The SEC weighs changes to crypto custody. You think that's a coincidence? So let me read the entire title. SEC weighs changes to crypto custody rule for investment advisors. So this is what they're doing is they're pulling away this rule that was going to go into effect that was negative, that came from the Gary Gensler era. They've been removing all of these things that they can, which is removing the barriers for crypto. Once again, more proof that crypto is being unleashed. But not only that, this opens up the floodgates for what I said, that initiatory offering, which is custody, that initiatory, partnership with a government, with a central bank. I mean, all of these different limitations that were placed upon crypto are being removed. This is bullish. All of these types of happenings, if you look at them in an obtuse way, right? And I think that's how it should be looked at right now, because all of these top bank coin companies, utility coin companies, have a similar potentiality. I won't say the same potentiality, but they have a similar potentiality. They do. Think about it. So removing any of these barriers is super bullish for the top cryptos across the board. This is why I say what's happening right now with the price, I'm not concerned with that at all whatsoever. I feel very, very confident. That's just my way. You don't have to feel the same. Because right now, what's happening right now does not dictate whatsoever or change whatsoever what is to come in the future, because the catalysts, not only the positive catalysts, not only remain, but they're only growing day by day, bigger, stronger, more powerful, more potent each day. This is what it says here. I'm going to read a little bit of this, right? The rule would leave crypto firms without proper custody solutions, which obviously is not going to happen because they're removing it. So now they will have proper custody solutions and can provide custody for each other, right? Or for external entities, which if you've been reading a lot of these different financial, like I said, keep up with the bank news. It's it's unbelievable. And if people don't see the articles, I understand why they wouldn't believe it, but it just takes a little search and you will find the articles. Some of these banks have literally been talking about their need for crypto custody services because they don't want to do it themselves. Unfortunately, I know it's a bank. You're like, well, bank's custody value. Some of them don't want to do these things themselves. It's the same way where running some of these systems, you hear the big banks saying they don't want to run it themselves. They want to govern it, but they want the private sector to run it, right? They want to offer the services, but they don't want to do it themselves. I get that. I understand. A lot of it has to do with the burden, which the article, once again, see, This is why reading those articles is important. We covered an article a day or two ago where they literally were saying that some of these services were overburden their employees, and they don't want that. The BIS said that, and we just read the document recently, the last 2-3 days, something like that. That was reinforcing that idea. The banks, no disrespect, a lot of the banks are lazy. A lot of these big businesses are lazy. They just are. And which is why the private sector, the fintechs, are about to win. They are. And you see all of this getting removed so crypto can be further unleashed. Here's the question people need to start asking themselves is how high everything can go when it really kicks off. I think if you haven't done any calculations yet, you haven't really tallied up, because we're all into different things, right? Some of us are into XRP. Some of us are into Solana, Stellar, Chainlink, all different chains. Although they have similarities, they're different. So given what they specialize in, how high can they go? Given the different connections they have, how high can they go? And then you start making a list of different things they're into. Are they into cross-border payments? Are they into B2B? How much is B2B going to be? How much of a piece of that market could they take? I start looking into things like that. I think the time period coming up is when you start really, really reevaluating all of that value that can move across these chains. And we're about to see the next 2 to 3 years. I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm just saying it seems like it's going to be quick. It could be in the next year and a half. We're about to start seeing the implementation of some of these systems, and there's not going to be a lot of speculation anymore. We're literally going to see what they're made of, and then we're going to get some solid numbers in. But by that time also, that price is going to start moving. It is. Those prices will dramatically move. And here's the real kicker of it all is that Bitcoin's going to pull them up before this even happens. When Bitcoin goes off, all of these will go up significantly. Now, they'll have their volatility. Just know that, right? That's going to happen. But their price will be much higher than where it was before. I just believe that unequivocally. Then after that, that's when then the utility run takes over and boosts it up some more. There's just too much going on for it not to be that. I just don't see how it's going to not be that way. You look at the small and medium sized businesses. They need new solutions when it comes to payroll for sure. Let me tell you something, folks. You're grossly underestimating businesses need, even in well-established businesses, to track everything that happens with payroll. They need new systems. DLT can offer it 100%. They need to know where this money's going, where that money's going, who did overtime here, who was working this extra shift. Because you can't have people, I've seen it firsthand. You can't have people just at a computer now just type it. You're just trusting that one individual with your entire payroll. What? Who's checking that individual? There's no consistency in it. No, you need DLT, you need smart contracts, you need AI, and they're in combination with people. Okay, yeah, bring it all together. They need it. They want it badly. If not, they're going to keep hemorrhaging money. Money is going to keep being misappropriated. I think is that the word? I believe that's the correct word. Misallocated. Is that a word as well? It works though. Misallocated. That a lot of that happens all the time. All the time. A lot of employees complaining, what my money was short here. Or a lot of times somebody gets too much money. Listen, no, these things need to be remedied. I'm just throwing out little things. That payroll aspect will be major. There's a reason why these companies delved into that years ago. They delved into it early and mastered it early because it's important. You have to get these basic things out of the way where you build a foundation where there's going to be consistent capital. Makes sense, right? Payroll will be consistent value across a chain, consistent utility. It's reasonable, but it's something people forget about because it's not popular. It's not going to get you clicks and views. It's not. But that's something significant if you're a money maker, if you're thinking about value, so it's something I think about. And that goes right along with the QR codes, period. Where you have these chains that mastered it. I'm not sure how long this video is now. I hope it's not too long. But you have these companies like Ripple who mastered it early on with QR codes. No longer you got to swipe a card. Your employees swiping these cards in these systems that are highly flawed. Sometimes the systems are not logging them in for attendance and then they come back, hey, I'm missing a day or two. No. If you're using those QR code system with DLT, it 100% is registering that they're in there, and not in one system, but in a multitude of these blocks to verify 100% that they were there. They did this thing. You can use that in a variety of ways. That's going to be potent. These businesses want it. They need it. That's why they keep talking about it. All right, so now I'm I need to do the members only video next, but I need to skip one article or so. Let me get to that Bitcoin news before it's too late. And then anything else I'll incorporate into the members only video that I'm about to put out either tonight or tomorrow. Okay. So look at this. And I told people this. These big companies know what's coming. They're not playing any games. They feel like the era of retail dominance in crypto is over. They're taking over. I said they're the ones that have been buying the dip. Didn't I say that? And I said they've been buying the dip because they know Bitcoin's going to skyrocket. They don't care if it takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months. They know at some point in 2025, once again, not financial advice, my humble opinion, based on what I'm seeing. They know some point in 2025, it looks like Bitcoin's going to skyrocket. That hasn't changed. The catalysts have not changed. And so we get articles like this. BlackRock now holds over 567,000 Bitcoin. There's no way you can believe that they're doing that, holding that much Bitcoin, because they want to make this minute amount, this minuscule, not minute, this minuscule amount of value. Absolutely not. They're here to make the big money. They didn't even pump it yet. They're here to make the big money. You're saying, Mick, but so what? They've always had some Bitcoin. They acquire more. A lot of people are selling. They acquire more. Let me read this a little bit. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink previously praised Bitcoin as digital gold and said that most investors should have a small Bitcoin allocation. See, when they talk like that, I don't pay attention to them. There's no way I'm having a small Bitcoin allotment. No, you're not going to brainwash me. This is to get into the minds of the people who read this, right? Be careful of people of authority who speak to you with certain verbiage, and they put these different degrees of speaking in there. It's to get into your mind. I'm sorry, I'm not eloquent with how I'm explaining this, but it's to get into your mind. So while they have a huge allotment, you should have a small allotment. Come on now. Stop. No, stop. You're not going to make all the money and then cut me out. That's not going to happen. But let me hear but I'm going to dismiss that little piece because I know what you're doing. Let's continue on. That's how you do it. I know what they're doing. Recognize the trap. Let's jump over the trap, go around it. Let's continue forward. All right. So now, this is what they did. Hold on. I want to get to that part where it says what they acquired. Here we go. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager with approximately $11.6 trillion in assets under management, currently holds over 567,000 Bitcoin, valued at over $47.8 billion. That value is going to skyrocket once Bitcoin starts taking off, and it will. The negative catalysts are getting smaller. The positive catalysts are getting bigger. So theoretically speaking, the value is going to go higher. So now let's continue on here. According to Arkham Intelligence, so go to Arkham Intelligence if you want to verify this, okay? They're providing the information, the data. All right. The asset manager's most recent Bitcoin acquisition occurred on March 14th, very recent, when a Coinbase Prime wallet transferred 268 Bitcoin. They're still buying. They know what I'm telling you, they know what they're doing. A little manipulation here. A little, a little financial manipulation, bring the price down, a little selling. You call their friends and their proxies, plenty of proxies. You see a chessboard, there's plenty of pieces on the chessboard. But you know what I hear most people talk about when they make all of these different wisdom quotes and stuff? They talk about the king and the queen. What about the pawn? What about the rook? Those are the proxies here in the real world. There's plenty of proxies. They will sell on behalf of these companies and make it look like regular people are selling or regular companies. No. Bring that price down, then everybody else sells. So then these kind of large asset managers can swoop in and buy it for the low for their clients while assuring their clients this is going to go up. You think they're telling their clients anything else? If that was the case, they wouldn't be holding that much Bitcoin. If they didn't believe, they wouldn't be holding that much Bitcoin. If they thought, they have huge teams of researchers, huge teams of analysts. If any of them, and their IQs are out of this world, trust me, I know. If any of them believed that Bitcoin was going to, permanently go down, they wouldn't be holding this much. No way. That should tell you a lot. 268 Bitcoin acquired. What? Right. Let's keep watching them. Keep watching them. You'll see their movements. Let them show you who they are. Let them show you what they're doing. Their actions are going to speak. Oh, look. I mean, once again, this is what they said. Look how what they say and what they do is completely different. Most investors should have a small Bitcoin allocation. Small Bitcoin. Right. But they acquired 268 Bitcoin. They literally did the opposite of what they recommended everyone else to do. Do you believe they said that same thing to their clients? They should have a small Bitcoin allocation. You believe that? Right now? In this environment? Right. Watch what they're doing. So you got Arkham Intelligence. I'm sure Sentiment is going to have something coming out. All of these entities that follow this type of information, I don't know what you have to do. I can't tell you what to do. But personally, I'm going to set some kind of notification for when their articles drop so I can read that data immediately and stay privy and abreast of what's going on. It's going to be important coming up if you're a mover and a shaker, unless you're just super long term with Bitcoin. If you're not, you better know what's going on. It's getting more bullish by the day. And their actions are going to tell you. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.